right, guys. Welcome to the DDM podcast, and now I have Garage Moon Power with me, and I've been wanting to get these guys on because they're great friends of mine, and they also have a very cool history of drifting and doing all kinds of cool stuff and kind of creating their own style. So, you guys, want to give yourself a quick say hi and basically who you are on the team and what you drive?
Sebastian goes first.
Okay. I guess me. I'm Sebastian. I guess I don't know. I'm like one of the founders. Me and Sandra would be one of the main founders, and then Phil and Dustin were always part of our drift group. And at one
Get
point,
too far into it. Just say your name and what you drive.
I drive.
This part comes in later.
Huh? Okay. So yeah, I'm Sebastian. I drive an S14
and R32.
and an R2.
Everyone's going to know you from the R32.
You get
so.
no love for that car now.
Right?
It's a bad
I'm the only one in the original car still.
Kinda, yeah, I guess.
All right,
Yes.
Phil, go ahead.
My name's Phil. I drive an R34 GT. Not a GTR, but it looks like a GTR.
And he had the S13 Seal Coupe.
I had the S13 with the bricks and the drag wing. The drag wing is my signature thing.
Your car was the one that didn't have any arrow on it because it would get ripped off on the first run.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We all lose the rear bumper. That's like normal. Well, okay, so I'm Dustin. I drive the 1 S13, pop-up front, coupe. Yeah.
It's just a 240 if it's left-hand drive.
It's just a 240.
Oh, it is 180. It's
You
a
said
1 Via. Whatever. That's a coupe.
In Japan with a 180 SX front. That's where 1 Via comes from. Which means you have to be right-hand drive.
No, I swapped it.
All right. So, how long have you guys been like a thing? I guess you could say.
Now Sebastian can go back into the pre days.
2018. But then
I don't know.
how
Sandra,
are we going back?
Sandra, how long has GMP been GMP? At least 5 years.
Okay, so what happened was GMP was a thing before we were a thing.
GMP,
And
yeah.
before we were a thing, it was Sebastian and Sandra and Mikey. No?
No.
Armin, we still have like a whole bunch of little homies with the same color cars and everything that they just don't drift as much as we do. Like, we are crazy and all we do is focus on driving. So like, they have different priorities. Our priorities are fucked because all we do is drive. So then,
And then so basically Phil or Sebastian came up to basically with this idea in his head that he really wanted to go to Final Bout and we needed to get a team together. And so for probably like 3 months.
Well, we had a team previously, but that team had kind of fell off.
They didn't let me come through.
it's not, no, look, we can still be part of, look, alright, so you already know who it is. So, we were actually all supposed to be Heat Lightning.
Okay, no. They were Heat Lightning. These two.
No, we were. Me and Phil were Heat Lightning. So me and Phil were Heat Lightning, right?
Right when Dusty got involved in drifting, and I was a nobody, and no one knew me, and
Long hair flex
I was
hard.
long hair flex hard, and so then we got Sebastian. Then at this same time was like, yo, we need to do Final Bout.
Yep.
Like, what is Final Bout?
Like, we need to do this shit.
I had no idea what it was at all. I was just like, shit, I'm trying to drive.
Yeah.
And these two were like, all right, we're trying to drive, and so
We need a third driver though, because
We
you
were
can't do it with two people.
we were gonna do the Heat Lightning thing originally, and we talked to them because at that point in the Heat Lightning's life, they had like basically like let it all go. Like everyone started like four-wheeling, and no one even
big
had a
trucks.
car anymore. No one had the same paint. They all had like there was like maybe like Johnny was like the only one I think that still had a car that was still that color and all that. But he had at that point wasn't even drifting anymore. He was doing boat things or doing whatever he was doing. Who knows?
But everybody else had lost interest, but me and Sebastian, and Dustin was getting into it.
And I was gaining a lot of interest into it. And then so we were like, all right, well, we're going to do this. And their cars were already that color. And then we were like, all right, well, we're just going to paint my car that color too. And then we're going to start our own team. And
with the talk of that, though, is where we decided just to do it completely different and do our own thing. Sebastian was like, all right, let's do Garage Moon Power, and that's how it started. So we changed the color up We kind of made everything nicer.
No, we already had the colors to see. Like the thing was that I had originally was the first person who painted my car that color, and I was trying to mimic the GMP or the heat lining color at that point in time. They were used. Yes, no, it was.
Color that was the same.
It was the Summit. It was no. I'm saying the Summit was the cheap shit, and then I got the next like triple stage purple thing that we used because I didn't want to use the Summit paint anymore, and then it came out super cool. And then that's when we're like, okay, we kept that color because then we painted Phil's car that color, and that's when you guys painted it in his garage, and then. But see, like around that time, I already had GMP, which is the floor mats, garage boom power, and then that's why it was easy to be able to be like, okay, we already drive together, let's just use the name and like exposure I already have through this, and just continue on as garage boom power. So then it was just like instead of us not being this heat lining thing, let's just be what I already had on the side, which is garage boom power, and then let's just make us the official drift team right now. And then we started to build like what I guess we had cars like at least a full year before we built them for Final Bout.
Yeah.
So,
we had our cars together, but we didn't have a third driver.
Yeah. That's when Dustin came in.
Yeah.
And then that's pretty much. If Dustin wasn't in the picture,
getting both these guys on the exact same day, technically. When I was trying to buy a Power FC for an SR, I showed up to Sebastian's house. Phil was there. And then I had seen Phil at another event beforehand at Cordell.
I met you with Izzy.
Yeah, and then I don't know what happened in between that point. I started going over to Phil's house a lot, and then we all just became a team.
On the sim rig. Gotta get the time in.
The sim.
And then me and Phil drove on R Factor together all the time. Like we would have our R Factor go, and this was before AC got popular. Really, we were R Factor and our lives away
all day, every day.
And that's where we all. And the real funny thing is, we never all three drove together before Final Bout.
Our real cars.
We
did R Factor.
Drifting together on a Seto or R Factor or whatever.
We drifted a lot on R Factor together, but never.
We'd all drove together, but we never drove together. Like I would drive with Phil, or Phil would be driving with Sebastian, or I'd be driving with Sebastian.
Someone always has a problem.
Yeah.
We never keep all three of us on track the same. Still happens. You know, just what it is.
It just happened good for us that one day at Final Bout 3 that we all had our cars working. Because even the first special stage we went to, I think we might have done like 2 laps together in the beginning, and then Phil started breaking axles, and then Sebastian sandwich plate fell off.
Yeah, broken axle, forced the wheel bearing.
You're good at that, Phil.
See, our first Final Bout was horrible. It probably looked like all these other people's first Final Bout, to be honest, because we did half laps and we spun maybe a couple times and then we blew up cars, and then that was it. So
and then I drove by myself the whole day.
Yep.
So
last Final Bout gallery, I bent 2 sphericals on my PBM control arms, tore the mount out of my subframe for my lower control arm, cracked my turbo manifold in half. It was great, you know. Yeah.
You're good at that, Phil.
Yeah.
Phil breaks a lot of stuff.
I break. Good at it. Professional. If you need to hire anybody for breaking a car, let me know.
The worst part is you're a tuner, so it's like you're supposed to fix them.
It's just cat meme stuff. But yeah, so that's who we are. We just like cool cars, pretty much. And we like
so you want to go into real quick, Sebastian, why your car is now a different color?
Well, it's because it's just like why Dustin's pro car is kind of a different color, just so it can be different from the team thing. Because I am gonna keep the R32, and the R32, even if I get another chassis or something else, I'm gonna try to keep it the same color of the team. So then when we go out like that, it makes sense. But I did try to build this to be a little more competitive, and I had to do stuff to make this one work, so the other one doesn't work now, you know. So
it's kind of like the same concept that I kind of followed along. It's like, shit, we got 2 cars. Why make them both the same color? You know, like
Right.
I really like red, so
he just sticks with it. But you never have two cars that run, so I don't want to hear it from you.
He's right. He has a black car. What do you mean? The other car's black, so.
Oh yeah, he's got a black car, but
the
that thing ain't got nothing in it.
G35 runs, the R34 runs, the truck.
What else?
I don't have two cars that run either, so I can't really tell. We can't. None of us really ever
Both your
have two
trucks.
cars. I got two trucks.
You got two trucks.
Trying to sell one.
It's one more running truck than I have.
2500 Dodge. Hit me up.
Awesome. So, where did Garage Moon Power come from? Like, what is that, like a thing from Japan, or just came out of it with the blue?
Yeah, my girlfriend is obsessed with Sailor Moon, and we kind of also like have 9 to 5s. So the thing was that I would go to work, come home, and then usually around 7, I decided to go outside and work on the car. So then we always ended up working like super midnight. So me and her just hanging around with all our friends. At one point in time, we're like, oh, you know, what would we call ourselves? So we call ourselves Garage Moon Power. And then around that time, that's whenever the whole floor mat thing started. We made a logo. One of our local buddies who's part of Garage Moon Power works at the place where they manufacture the floor mats. So then we put it all together, and now we have a product that, you know, kind of helps us out.
Nice.
So that's where it started, pretty much.
Cool.
Simple.
Yeah, the logos you guys have is really cool. So I guess going into more of the final bout talk, because that was why you guys built this. Talk about winning. I think you won final bout 3. Is that correct? Yeah.
Yeah.
So kind of talk about how that all happened because that was a crazy event.
It was an emotional event too for
That
us.
was wild.
Yeah.
That was wild.
You guys want to kind of go into that though?
I mean,
We were this close to not even going.
yeah.
Real
Yeah,
far, real close to not going.
Yes.
I guess that way.
What was it? It was the day we were supposed to leave, I think,
Yeah.
right? Was
It
it?
was like
It was like 3 days before, yeah.
Yeah, 3 days before you and me came home from work.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, it wasn't good.
So I had a dog, Odin, and I had him for like 4 years at that point in time, I think. And me and Phil came home from work because we used to carpool together, and we just got home. We heard this weird noise, and we went out back and we started looking for the dogs because usually they like come at us immediately, and only one of them came. So we were like, wait, what's going on? And we went looking for the other one, and we kind of found him like half dead, covered in blood. Still don't even know what happened, but so then we took him to the vet, and me and Sandra stayed there to try to see what they could do. And we stayed there for a while, and he obviously didn't make it that night. And yeah, so we weren't gonna come. We kind of had like given up, but then we were just kind of like, let's might as well just go to try to get it.
All this effort into making it happen and everything, so we were like, we can't not go.
Yeah. So we just kind of, you know, still kind of in good vibes, went for it, which obviously it helped out because somehow we ended up winning.
he was looking out for us.
Yeah, so we put Phil up front and Dustin in the middle, which worked perfectly then. I think we had it planned out differently, right? But
Yeah.
we like try to have a game plan. Actually, we made a game plan before the whole competition, which was try to drift the first turn, and if we can drift the whole entire track, we would continue, and if we wouldn't, Phil would try to stop, and Phil actually did stop.
Yeah, slowed us down one time because we got all out of sync.
So then that's why every time, I don't know if you watch all the videos, but most of the times we were a little separated, but then on top of the hill, like in the viewing corner, we were pretty much together every time because we were, like, we actually tried to time it correctly and actually worked very well. Everything just, I don't know, everything synced in. So maybe it was because of Odin, you know, RP, but maybe the good vibes from everybody because everybody knew about it. And it was a great event overall too. So.
Yeah.
And we kind of had a good game plan to the fact that right before competition started that day, I mean, it poured down. And the competition thing isn't really like I wouldn't say it's a big thing, but it's not like the main thing that goes on at these events. It's really everyone just coming and getting a drive together. So that they'll throw the competition like first thing, beginning of the day, get it over with, so everybody can just have some fun, you know.
Relax.
And so it rained really bad, and then 2 hours later they're like, all right, line up for competition, and we kind of sat back and let a lot of teams go and kind of dry up the track a little bit. And then it was basically, there was one line on the track that was dry, and if you deviated from it and went a little bit this way or a little bit that way, you were going to be off in the wet. And we all just kind of stayed right on in the sweet spot and had a good time. And like I said, it was our first time driving together, but it felt like it was, you know, our 100,000th time.
Yeah,
and it still feels like that. Even, I mean, that's
Now?
pretty much like, yeah, that's pretty much the same. You know, we all try and make it to the same events, but I'm always, you know, I'm pretty busy with FD stuff. Sebastian, he's pretty busy. Phil's pretty busy. It's hard to keep all the cars running all together at the same time. So it pretty much always aligns that those events are the ones that we really focus on driving together at. And plus, we get to events and we want to have fun. We see this dude and we're like, oh, let's go drive with him. Let's drive with him. And then we're all three in a tandem train with 6 other people, and it's still a good time.
That's awesome. It's really cool. What's I guess what's the next step for you guys, or like what you got any like plans for the future for the team, or like what's your kind of anything coming up? Or I think it'd be the final Bout 4 would be the next, but
That's like the big thing on the list, but that's like way out in September.
If
We've
it
heard
happens in September.
Yeah,
That's
I'm sure it will, but we've also heard about some other events, some team tandem events coming up, and we're going to do that. We all have individual goals as drivers. I know Sebastian and Phil are focusing on competition stuff this year too, and yeah,
all right.
just all kind of doing our own thing.
It'd be cool if we could all go pro like Dustin, but you know, me and Seabass got to try.
Right.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
and that's the whole goal of that new car too, though. I've never tried to have like just a competition-minded car, so I'm trying to take this one a little more serious and go try and take some events a little more serious, and not just the whole style aspect of it, you know, and the let's win some shit aspect of it too, because we can drive, and so if we can push ourselves enough to be able to get this shit, we can do it, you know. So it would be cool, like maybe a long-term goal would be us 3 or even the rest of everybody at FD, you know, even if we can get two GMP cars at FD, that would be cool. So it'd be cool to have that.
Yeah.
But, you know.
Yeah, you know, have a really competitive car with style. I think that's definitely all of all's real goals. To have the most competitive car possible, like an FD spec car, but with, you know, Japan style, fucking, you know, low, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah, and that's the cool thing Dustin can pull off. And you know, the thing about your car, Sebastian, is it looks really good. I mean, it doesn't look like, you know, like an FD spec style car. I mean, it still looks very good, and that's again all of your guys' goals, and you guys have seemed to do that really well. So are there any other facts or things that you think other people should know kind of about the team? Kind of some goofy stories or goofy details as well.
I don't know. I guess we're just going to keep at it. I mean, check out the Garage Moon Power website and stuff and grab some goofy floor mats. That's something goofy you can get involved with right there.
Yeah, those are cool.
You know, you're trying to become YouTube famous.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're trying to get the YouTubes going, because that seems like, especially in these times.
Yeah, what would people like to see us post?
Yep.
You know? It's a good
I
question.
want to see you actually drive, Phil.
Yeah.
Oh, Carl.
I got a bear right now.
911, there's been a murder.
No,
Yeah.
I think more people just want to see that R34 out there, buddy.
Yeah, I'll get it out there.
Yeah.
Yep, not on fire.
Once this.
Not over here.
Yeah, I got to get my car back on ethanol, because it does not like staying cool with the gas.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Mr. 240 isn't overheating.
Yeah, I mean, I'll take that guy 260, even 270 maybe. Phil, I have to kind of just tell Phil I'm sorry and say a Hail Mary.
Hey, but the motors hold together though.
Somehow.
Somehow.
Yeah, what's it like tuning for these guys, Phil?
Dustin is a challenge because Dustin really does beat the shit out of his car. I mean, Dustin beats the shit out of his car. And his
Set 260, like it was nothing. It's so.
I mean, he's seeing 300 oil degree temps continuously. Dustin does not pull off for a cool down lap.
Now when I'm having a good time, we ain't worried about that.
Somehow we have not lost a single motor. We have not had a single engine failure in our entire JZ career with Dustin, which is
I had one tank, but it was before Phil was tuning it, and I did a couple runs without any coolant. So no coolant there to tell you how hot it was. That shit was hot.
oh god.
Yeah, that happens.
Awesome.
You just gotta send it.
So all of you guys you guys all kind of work on your own stuff, which is, again, and you all have your special little talents. Like Sebastian, you have your painting talent. You got, and then Phil, obviously
And
you're the
fire.
tuner.
And the wiring. He's the wiring man too. He's wired
You want to quick go into the
on my cars.
He's wired the engine harness in my car too.
awesome.
And
So you guys all kind of work on each other's cars.
Yeah.
The thing here.
Everybody here contributes to build these cars. You know, otherwise we couldn't get these things done without everybody.
I'm there for motivational support. You know, I'm gonna clap. I can order pizzas.
He provides the tools that we need to
Yep.
keep working.
Yep. I keep the essentials going. Phil,
I
the works, and he can do it for you. Hit this man up, remote tunes, or if you're in
It's
the
like
Atlanta area,
Insert ad right there.
insert EMS,
EMS.
I know.
Dyno tuning.
engine management solutions.
Maybe in a couple years we could open up our own shop. Garage power.
That
shut
is
up.
the goals.
Oh.
Me and Phil got the goals of turning out HGK cars, but they're gonna be GMP cars.
I think that would be pretty cool.
one day.
There you go. So Sebastian, you want to go quick into like what you do styling wise, painting wise, because I think that's really unique to you guys as well, because you guys have some cool paint.
Yeah, I guess, I don't know, I just like dumb shit, so I have time, and then I end up just doing extra, I just get extra with it. So I know most of car people used to have lowrider toys and stuff like that. I used to be a little more obsessed about it, and so I like the lowrider paint jobs, and we flaked out a whole bunch of things to make it look crazy, you know, but it's just to have, you know, like, I guess everyone thinks a stylish car is just a whole bunch of nice things, but it's kind of not, you know. It's a mix of how you put together the product, you know. You can have crappy things, you know. Most of our stuff's not really that nice. We just know how to put it all together, so then we have like an end result that looks good, you know. We polish our turds pretty well, I guess you could say, but
Yeah.
You can notice the effort.
Yeah,
You don't have to be a lot of money spent as long as you put a lot of hard work into it, basically.
Yeah, I mean, you could take a car with a whole bunch of money into it, and it still looks like shit. That happens.
Yeah.
so that's just where all that crazy paint job shit came from. So I learned how to paint all of our cars, so I paint everyone's cars. So then that evolved to, well, how can I make it cooler? And then it continued on.
Questions, you know, from him learning on.
So,
Yep. He's gotten very good, and it's been a huge asset for us too, saving us some money and giving us the ability. Basically, if we weren't able to have this little good group of people, like if we weren't blessed with all each other, basically, all this would be a lot harder for each one of us. You know, like we all bring something to the table that makes it easier for the next man. Basically, we just got lucky, you know.
yep.
And it all formed out of necessity because we all needed these things to happen, you know. And out of necessity comes greatness sometimes because we got to keep trying and trying and trying. Me and Phil tried to paint my car one time; it turned out horrible. And then it's just everything's just got progressively better, you know. Like we got a little bit better planning going on, which has been the best thing. I mean, we've also been at it for like 5 years now, almost, or 4 or 5 years. Like we've got time together, and mostly kept, if not the same cars, at least most the same parts, you know, or same platform been now more familiar with that platform.
Well, I think the big thing that really helps is all three of us really like the same things. Like we all have a pretty similar taste and style, so it's really easy for us also to work together because everybody likes the same stuff.
And we all have the same goals.
So yeah, same.
Yeah, I'm just saying the same goals is mainly the biggest part because we all want to achieve the highest level we can get. So
How do we get? Well, this is what
how are we gonna get? And we, teamwork makes it easier. Like, Phil tunes all my cars because I can't tune, and it's gonna cost me money. So I can just have Phil do it. It's much easier. He's actually gonna tune my car tomorrow.
Yeah, put in a different exhaust can.
I'm doing camps tonight just to try.
Awesome.
I feel like to do crazy shit like that.
So would that be something that you would recommend other teams, or like what? So like, say you're a new team and you're trying to get started and trying to get into final bout and all this kind of stuff. What's kind of something that's really helped you guys? Obviously, you just mentioned teamwork. That's a big thing.
Do it for yourself. Don't do it for other people.
Make it natural, pretty much. If it's a natural thing, like what Dustin's saying, it's kind of like a necessity for all of us. Dustin really wanted to achieve a pro level, and we could all help him out with that, and that helps us all out at the same thing, because it gives us the exposure more, and plus it makes us look just as good as he does, so it continues to on. So then we're fully being able to back him up on that, because we all have like, hey, we want to achieve the highest level, at least that we can achieve. It's not like the highest level, maybe whatever you viewing it as, but the highest level we can make it,
And the thing is it seems like I feel like it helps all of you guys learn, whether it's new stuff or higher end stuff, higher quality.
This experience, continue learning.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And
we definitely know what not to do a whole bunch.
Yeah. Hey, we never said we know what we were doing.
We never said we knew what we were doing.
Nope.
I mean, as far as out there is like starting a team, it's just like get a group of friends that you enjoy hanging out with and enjoy driving with the most, and get out there and just have some fun, Like, don't go out there and think you got to make your cars all 100% pretty, because I'll tell you right now, all our cars weren't pretty off the bat. Mm-hmm. They weren't. It was a process that you had to work towards. It was a goal, I went out there. I know my car was the absolute ugliest thing ever. It had 10 different body panels. It was like the XXRs, everything. I started out at the bottom and I inched my way up step by step. Like, don't try and skip any steps. Just start.
Yeah, don't try and skip any steps.
Yeah,
it's a big one.
Just work your way up that ladder. You try and take any shortcuts and it's going to bite you in the butt in the long run, basically. And don't rush it. If you feel like you need something, then try and work your way around it until you absolutely 100% need it. You know what I'm saying? Like, try and do other things. Like, if you feel like you need to make your car look good, but you don't know how to drive yet, well, just kind of do what you can do with a little bit of money to make your car good. If that means a spray paint job, then spray paint that guy. Whatever you got to do it, and just do it. I'm not going to judge you. These guys aren't going to judge you. If their people are judging you, forget them. They're not even in this life for real, and they're just trolls. And you're gonna run into that no matter what you're doing.
Yep.
Just take your time, do your thing, enjoy drifting, and don't get burned out on it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Find a good team, mainly because we wouldn't even be a team together if it wasn't because we wanted to drive with Dustin right now. We chose to be GMP because other people didn't want him to be part of something else. So we're like, nah, I guess we're just going to go do our own thing because we do want to hang out with Dustin, because he fit in what we wanted to do as friends more than the other people. So then as friends, we ended up at us three driving together, working on our cars together, doing more things together as friends. That's why our team kind of works so well, is because we're all our friends. So
we're friends.
We all care for each other like that.
And I might not be where I am today if these guys wouldn't have made that choice. I could have got real burned out on it really quick and gave up and never drifted another day in my life. But these guys, wanted to stick with me, and we all got to drive together. And those few days that you get to enjoy behind the wheel and everybody's, got a big smile on their face, is all worth the many, 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 many hours it takes and days in life and sacrifices you make to get there. Guys, it's it's a lifestyle more than anything. Like, you gotta, you live the whole thing. Like, drifting is pretty much what we wrap our life around, all of us. Every one of us, drifting is basically the main thing in our life. We don't have a bigger hobby or a bigger anything in our life than drifting.
It's just, if it is, it's just related around cars.
Yeah, it's all something.
We work with cars.
Yeah.
Sebastian works with cars. I work with cars. That's all we do. Cars, cars, cars.
All we do.
That's cool.
The necessity, because all we want to do is drift.
Yeah, and that's the big thing is like you guys drive, you know. I mean that's the biggest thing is too that people and teams got to know or figure out is, you know, driving's key, and it's probably king above anything else. And the biggest thing is what you guys are able to do is help each other, not only building cars, but you can help each other driving wise too. If you see something that your buddy's doing, or if you see something a little wonky on the car that when they're driving, I'm sure you guys are always trying to give each other tips and or be like, hey, this transitioning point, transition a little later so that we can all get behind, or something like that. I'm sure you guys all talk about that kind of stuff as well.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, sure. We got the best spotter seat in the house when you're chasing someone super close, you know, or driving behind them even, you know. It's like, hey, you did this. And it's also about being, like, cohesive together as drivers. Like, don't be afraid to tell your friend, hey, try and go a little bit wider here. And then also it's being mindful that, like, going from a competition setting to a team driving competition setting is completely different lines, basically. It'll be the same line, but you'll be in different places on that line in different times. Like, you won't want to, you know, inside clip every turn. You'll want to get close to an inside clip, but not so close that the other guy can't get in there too, you know?
And, like, as a lead driver, one thing I definitely see a lot of times is a lead driver not looking behind them to see where the person is behind them. And you'll see there's, like, a 4-car distance. That's a lot of times as a lead driver, you need to, in a team mission, you need to check up and slow down so that your teammate can get closer. That's the whole point. You know, you don't want to be drifting far apart. So instead of running away from the guy behind you, you try and run a wider or more aggressive line with more angle to slow your car down, so that way that they can get in the pocket to make it look more appealing. Because that's what, you know, this is about.
Yep.
It's just, try and make it fun for everyone.
Yep.
So when you talk about the different lines between competition, in between team drifting and then actual comp, is like the biggest thing just taking the wider lines or a slower line, or
I think a lot of that. I mean, the goal is definitely to be, you know, as stylish as possible, and that's where, like, I don't know, FD judging gets, you know, I don't want to talk about it because, you know, they'll judge some way or another, but with competitive driving, with team-wise, it's definitely always just about the style, you know, how it looks, how aggressive was the entry, how tight are the cars. It's very defined of what this drift is looking like. It's not so much more, you know, does he pull away from the guy? Is he gapping him? Is he, you know, drag racing the guy? More angle, less angle. Oh, he's just a hair of an angle, but he's chasing him, you know, but he's basically straight. You know, there's none of that stuff. Everybody's trying to put as much angle and as much smoke and speed as possible to put on the best show for the spectators, because it's a spectator sport. That's what we have to remember.
Yeah.
And it's just, like he said, more important to maybe focus more so on outer zones than more so inner zones, inner clips for like a lead driver, and then the second person focus more on the outer zones too, and then that way the third person, if there is ever a little gap, can kind of, you know, work their way in and it still look really good, and everyone will be in the same line. And as a whole team at once, you got to all be on the same line, because we've all seen the people tandeming together. One person's here, one person's over here, and the other person's back here, but it just don't look right, you know, and it's dangerous too. And so it's important to everyone be in the same spot on the same track, or on the track.
Yeah, same lines.
Yeah, the same line, but also be mindful when you're driving to say, okay, if I go a little bit wider here, he'll be able to suck up, you know. And then in competition, obviously, you're not trying to do that. You know, you're saying, I'm going to hit this clipping point, and that clipping point, and that clipping point.
Yeah.
And I'm going to try my best in doing that to also run away from this guy so I win, you know? But it's not the same kind of thing.
Right.
But it's also helped me out a ton in competitive drifting by just being more comfortable chasing someone because I get to chase these guys, so much.
Yeah, and you got to run you still run your line while chasing them.
Mm-hmm.
And that helps you. So you get to still run your stylish chase line while running a chase that's gaining on the car in front of you. And you're still trying to pull in that proximity, but you're also keeping in mind that I need to do this stylishly. I need to throw a nice enter, be on their door, such and such.
And I think it's still very important when you're picking your team and the cars and stuff. I'm not saying like pick and choose what you want, yada yada, but also try and make it so that everyone has like a pretty much an equal shot. Like don't go out there with like a NAKA car versus like a fully built 600 horsepower RB26 car. You know what I'm saying? Like the thing that's kind of works good for us is we all have very similar setups in very similar ways. Like we all like from the first final bout, I'm pretty sure we all were within like maybe even like 20 horsepower of each other. And then right now there's a little bit separation between this guy and me and Sebastian, but we're getting our stuff there.
For now, CBS is going to have more power than you are.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I'm getting that ethanol too.
Well, he's getting on with that tomorrow, though.
Yeah. Both y'all got more power than me. I don't even have a car that runs right now.
Yeah.
Interesting. So something I noticed you guys do is you enter a lot faster than most teams, at least at this last event. Is there something that, because obviously entering quickly can be catastrophic if the lead driver spins or something, like as we saw in that last final bout with another team. But when you're entering at those speeds, what gives you the confidence to do that, and what are you looking for when you're entering?
I think a lot of our drifting style requires momentum with it too. So we have we're momentum drifting too. So that's why we have to have good speed up. Otherwise, the cars don't swing right.
I think it's also just about us having fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's much funner to go faster than it is to go slower.
And at the same time, we all know and believe and trust in each other that the next person's going to be able to do what you're doing. And at the same time, it also helps us stay closer when he's driving as hard as he can, I'm driving as hard as I can, and Sebastian's driving as hard as he can.
Yeah, we all know.
We're all driving at that 80, 90% of our full range, 100%, 110% sometimes, that it's a lot easier to be able to stay close when we're all driving as hard as we can, basically.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Because if I'm holding 70% and he's doing 80% or 100%, I'm going to be gapped,
Yeah.
So it's important. And I think also the thing is for us, although we haven't all driven together a ton, we've all drove together a good bit. Like I've driven with Sebastian, I've driven with Phil. Them two drive together a lot, and we all know each other's styles, and they're all almost identical. We all have a little bit different driving style in our what we do, but it's all very similar at the same time. It's different, but it's very similar.
Special Stage South, we hadn't even driven this track before. I hadn't driven my car in its current configuration yet. Sebastian hadn't even driven his car in his configuration yet. We were like, all right, first lap, send it. Let's go. 3-car cannons, full speed, send it. Whatever. All right.
I didn't know brake worked.
Yeah.
But
it's just having that confidence, really.
It's confidence in all of cars and everything.
Getting seat time in your cars, getting seat time in your setup, and getting seat time with your friends.
Yeah.
That'll give you a good recipe for. And we all went out there and we made a couple solo laps first. You know what I'm saying? We felt the track out a little bit.
I didn't make a solo lap first.
Oh, I made a solo lap.
No, you remember I chased you.
We didn't really make solo laps. We made a little bit.
Dustin's the only one that made a solo lap. We were like, we don't know what's going on. Let's just follow Dustin. And actually, no, you went in the middle because I was like, why the fuck?
I led. I was like, I do it. I was like, I'll lead. I don't care. And I threw it in way too much. And yeah.
I had a lot of laps in my car up until that point.
Yeah, you literally just drove your car across country.
So, I was good.
Yeah.
Yeah. But interesting. What's you guys say you guys have been driving together a long time, and obviously your experience is really what shines in events like this, especially when you're talking about when some guys that go to their first event and it's final bout, and stuff like that. What's some basic advice that you would give to people that are going to their first events and kind of getting into the sport? Because obviously you guys have quite a bit of experience now in this industry. What was some stuff that really helped you, especially in team tandem driving, become what you guys are doing now?
A set of course stuff. Practice.
Good tires.
Yeah, good tires. That was probably the single biggest thing I think for us.
Yeah, we've always pretty much ran the same style of tires too.
Yeah.
Really?
We
all either like a 200 tread wear,
a grippy tire.
Grippy tire.
As soon as we all went grippy tire, that really, I feel like, catapulted our drive.
Like Dustin runs a grippy tire at like 16, 17 psi, and then I run a grippy tire at like 40 psi, and that's so my driving style can still like be the same. Yeah. Dustin's style can still be the same, but then we have the same relatively amount of grip if you think about it or whatever. So I like my car to be a little bit more loose, and Dustin likes it to be a little more tight. So it's just that's how our styles end up meeting, and then why like it looks well or whatever. It's because our setup. So I guess anyone coming in that is just starting to drift and wants to do final bout, figure out like an alignment spec, or don't be afraid to ask somebody like me, Dustin, or anybody else, what alignment specs do you guys run, and try to like have your car aligned with good tires. That to me is like one of the main things that people like struggle with. I would say is they come to events with non-alignment cars and they're just like fighting their cars a lot and they get burned out, but it's really like just due to like a crappy setup, and like that's why my car worked. Had a same alignment spec that Dustin had. So
you get set up and get your setup comfortable. Get a good seat. Get yourself comfortable behind the steering wheel first and most, and then get a setup in your car with an alignment, some good tires. Try and stay with the same tires. If you want to stay with not grippy tires, that's fine. Go get whatever tires you can find for the cheapest amount, but stay with that one brand as much as you can so it's consistent. And get seat time, man. Like a set of Corsa, that'll be your most valuable asset ever because you can burn through 1,000 tires without spending a whole bunch of money, And then when you go out there, like, get comfortable in your car. Like, don't go out there and try and run your boy's door the first lap because it ain't fun wrecking cars. No. And it ain't fun having to rebuild a car. And it ain't fun working on cars. What's fun is driving cars. That's not the work. The work is getting there and making sure you're having a good time and that you're prepared. And do that as much as you can because that's what's going to make your day fun or not fun,
Mm-hmm.
And try and have fun.
Try and have fun, yeah.
Looks like you got a friend there, Sebastian.
Cheese always here.
That's our mascot.
Yeah, there we go. All right, so any last words you guys want to words to the public, about the event, about team drifting, about anything. You guys got
get out there and try.
Yeah, get out there, do it. Make your cars look good.
Go have some fun.
And you don't have to spend a ton of money to do it either. You just got to try.
Learn how to do it.
Yeah. Just have a good time.
About destroying bumpers, it's like $30 to buy fiberglass and resin from AutoZone, and then you just fix your bumper. Done.
Yep, just slap it on the backside.
That's what they make YouTube for, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
And Dustin didn't know how to fix anything before, and then now Dustin can pull together a car by himself because of necessity, just because he had to do it. Otherwise, he was going to spend a whole bunch of money.
Learn how to work on your own car, because you'll never afford drifting if you got to pay somebody to do every single thing.
Yeah.
Guys, it's a lot. Learn how to do the essentials, but don't be afraid to pay someone to do the important stuff, because that is where you're going to save your money in the long run. Pay a man to tune your car. Pay a man to paint your car or learn how to do it, and go to an alignment place and get that thing on a rack professionally and get it dialed in. Make your adjustments from there as much as you want, but get it square off the bat. I know, people love tapes and strings and yada, 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 yada. Put it on a line machine, put a little toe out in the front, zero it out or add camber or whatever you want to do in the rear to match your engine and power setup and goals or whatever, and just get out there and drive.
Cool. All right. So, obviously, you guys have your general Garage Boom Power page, but if you guys want to do a quick shout out on what your personal stuff is too, I think that would be perfect for especially people that got questions, because all of you guys drive different engines, correct?
Yep.
Yeah, so you guys have a lot of experience with all kinds of different engines and setups and cars. So, I mean, just kind of give people, at least if they got any questions about something, or they're just fans of what you guys do, give them a place that they can find you at. And obviously they got the team, but shout out to your individual stuff as well.
Oh, it won't work.
Oh, there it is. I see it.
If you guys have got any tuning questions, you can message me at Engine Management Solutions on Facebook, or message me wherever else you can find me.
Turbo Space Cat 9
on Instagram.
Turbo Space Cat.
Yeah.
I always have a hard time finding you, Phil, on Instagram when I'm trying to tag you in posts. I'm like, what is his name? Oh, yeah, that's right. It's a Turbo Space Cat.
That's why you need to make your second name your name.
I need to just make another Instagram for my business.
Yeah, you can do that too.
Yeah.
At least a Facebook page too.
If anyone needs LS's tuned, RBs, JZs, you name it, V12, rotary, I'll do it. ITP, turbo, I'll do it.
He's very, very, very good with the keyboard.
Yeah, Motec dealer, you let me know.
Seabass, show him the hat real quick.
Yeah, Seabass real
Oh.
Gotta keep the cars running good.
And buy quality parts. That's the other thing. Buy quality parts.
Yeah.
Don't cheap out on your parts. You'll have to buy it 3 or 4 times.
Buy it once.
Spend the money one time. Do it once and do it right.
Yeah.
What's a common part that you see people do that on?
Everything.
Suspension, everything.
Every single thing. If people think they can cheap out,
harnesses, tuning,
they will cheap out and they will learn
sensors.
the hard way.
China sensors, that's a good one.
Just buy it once and buy it right and enjoy it. And real stuff holds its value because people know that it's quality. So if it doesn't work out, guess what? You can still sell it and get at least 3/4 of your money back.
Yeah.
And you got to enjoy it too. So do that.
All right. Where can they find you at, Sebastian?
At Cerebral Nebula or at Garage. Hey, dude. Cerebral. But yeah, or at Garage Boom Power because I run that too. So you ask questions there, I can help out. Yeah.
Cool. And you got rad floor mats. So if you want rad floor mats, you got to go check them out.
And we'll direct you to the right person.
Yeah.
All right. And where can they find you at, Dustin?
Miles Style Racing on Facebook. D Miles GMP on the IG.
Cool. All right, guys.
My security number is.
Awesome. Well, thanks, guys, for hanging out. Shout outs from the dog.
Peachy.
Awesome, guys. Thank you for having out. And again, thanks for listening to the DDM podcast. I got all kinds of cool stuff going on, especially we're doing a whole bunch of episodes because no one's doing anything right now. Imagine that. So I got a whole bunch of stuff lined up for you guys. So enjoy this while it comes out and be on lookout for all of these guys' channel for all their cool stuff they're doing. And then obviously I do daily stuff on DDM. So be sure to check us out every day. I'll see you later.
Shout out Abe for all the good videos.
Yeah.
Shout out Daily Driver Media.
Yeah.
Helped us be who we are.
Yeah.
Let's go.